Can't say it better than your own words. I have a couple questions.
Yes.
Here they are. One, what did President Obama know? When did he know it? And are we ever going to get to the bottom of that? And two, what was the media's involvement with all this?
Well, first of all, Obama knew everything, because I got it out of the newspapers. I assume he reads the newspapers. I just put it together piece by piece by piece. You know, as a former senior Justice Department official, I read these things, and then before my radio show a couple of years, almost 2 years exactly, I said, what the hell is this? And this, and this, and this. FISA? Somebody leaked that. Now, who would leak that? The FBI would leak it, because the FBI would be the only ones that knew about it. Then the New York Times piece, wiretaps, that was their headline, not mine, not the president's. And they changed it later, you know, so they could attack Trump. Wiretaps. And I said, what in the world? They've been surveilling Trump and his campaign. What else could they possibly mean by this? Also, at the same time, they lowered the regulations, the requirements for sharing of information between law enforcement and intelligence agencies, and they were unmasking the names of individuals at a record rate. And the media, oddly enough, when I brought this up, they started to attack me as a conspiracy theorist, which is really kind of strange considering I was using their articles. How could I be a conspiracy theorist when I'm using the New York Times and McClatchy and the Washington Post, who these senior Justice Department and Department of Justice people were obviously leaking to, the FBI and so forth. Otherwise, how would we know? And I knew it was the FBI, because all roads of these investigations, counterintelligence and criminal, go through. And now we know McCabe's a leaker, and Baker was a leaker, and Stroke was a leaker, and God knows who else is a leaker. All the senior officials at the FBI are gone, and they're gone for a reason. That's why I took it on, and for a week, the media started attacking me as a conspiracy theorist. I don't care about the media. They attacked me as a conspiracy theorist. How stupid is that when it's their articles that I'm reading from? But they had a problem. They were the recipient of these leaks. They knew the FBI and others were leaking it, and they needed to protect their sources. And they have such a hate-on for our great president, that on the one hand, they are the mouthpiece for the sources, and then on the other hand, they want you to pretend that none of this is going on at the FBI. As we now know, 2 years later, all of it was going on at the FBI.
And Obama, what's going to happen?
Here's my one problem with the investigation that the Republicans led when they controlled the House. They started from the bottom up. You notice how the Democrats do it?
Top down.
They pound the president, pound his family, and whatever flows from that, flows from that. We're chasing, you know, Lisa Page, we're chasing, which is fine. Obama has never had to account for what took place in his administration. Never, ever, ever. And I want you people here to know this. If you have a FISA surveillance warrant against a member of a presidential campaign of the opposite party, as an old chief of staff of justice, I want you to know, there is no way the White House didn't know about that. There is no way the president wouldn't have been told about that. That story's never been told, and it may never be told because of the Praetorian Guard left-wing kook media that we have in this country.
That's okay. He'll go home tonight, and he'll go to his beautiful home in Northwest Washington with its very tall wall, which, by the way, is a perfect segue, if I do say so, to talking about the southern border. So we know the left doesn't want a border, and they don't want a border for one reason only, and it's the word votes, because they know everyone coming across votes their way. You can be sure that if people coming across voted a Republican ticket, that wall couldn't go up fast enough.
No, they'd have snipers up on the border to
Exactly.
keep the people out.
Good point. But here we are. Who does know national security? Who does understand his mission? The President of the United States of America. And he understands that it's up to him to protect the American people. So, what did he do? He put into force, he invoked the National Emergencies Act of 1976, and immediately 16 states sue the president, claiming that he's veered the country into a constitutional crisis. We have the House Democrats passing a resolution trying to block it. Now it's going to go to the Senate, where some of our, shall we call, friends on the Republican side have already indicated they're going to vote with the Dems. Let's get a Mark Levin reality check. I want you to explain the National Emergencies Act, what it is the president correct? Go for it.
Let me explain this specifically for the media out there, which is illiterate when it comes to the Constitution of the United States.
I think they're back there, way back there.
Let me do this very slowly, so listen slowly. Congress passed a statute called the National Emergencies Act. They passed it almost half a century ago. It's been used over 50 times by presidents of both parties. There are aspects of the statute I don't like, but so what? That's the statute. Congress also passed other statutes involving the Defense Department and the Army Corps of Engineers. And when they passed those spending bills, they created, in effect, financial buffers where a president can move the money around as necessary. You have the legal statute, you have the financial statute. The President of the United States has done everything humanly possible to work with the Democrats. They don't want to work with them. The Republicans who are objecting have been in Congress for 412 years, and they've done absolutely nothing, nothing. And I don't need lectures from Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and Lamar Alexander about the Constitution. I can tell you that. And I don't need lectures. And I don't need lectures from the phony experts that you put on your cable shows and the other phonies, the Democrats, who are applauding DACA, which had no statutory authority whatsoever, was a law that was written in the Oval Office and imposed on the American people. I don't see a single Democrat or Republican demanding the repeal of DACA based on separation of powers and constitutional grounds.
It's true.
And for those who use the scare tactic, that when the Democrats take over, they may do this too. The Democrats do all kinds of illegal and unconstitutional stuff when they take over. They don't need any prodding from us. That's number one. Number two, they say they'll use it on guns in the Second Amendment. You just heard our man on the Second Amendment. You can't use the National Emergencies Act or any statute to change the Second Amendment of the Constitution. And I would tell our media friends in the background, that same Bill of Rights that protects you, protects us too.
Well said. Well said.
And by the way, I have a big secret I want the media to know out there.
You want to share it? You sure?
Listen to me. Shh, listen to me. Hillary Clinton and the DNC colluded with the Russians. That's all you want to know. Hold on now.
We've got like two sides of the room here.
We can do this like row, row, row your boat.
Exactly.
This section first.
We need a middle section and then the right.
Oh, I have another secret. Shh, listen. Ted Kennedy colluded with the Russians. Hold on. You remember Nancy Pelosi colluded with the Syrians? Oh, it's true. What was that speaker's name? Jim
Right? No.
Jim Wright. Jim Wright colluded with the Nicaraguans. Oh, it's true. Go check your history.
We're going to need a day and a half on this stage to go through all the things the Democrats have done. There's like not enough hours in the day.
Just look at the narrative, honey, and I will call you honey, whether the left likes it or not.
Please do.
Big-time lawyer, smart as they come, my wife. I couldn't be more proud of her.
Thank you.
Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay. So I want to move to a topic that I find very, very frightening. We see a rise in anti-Semitism in this country almost on a daily basis. First, though, let's start in Europe. From France to Australia to Poland, Germany, England. The head of the Labour Party in England is an out-and-out anti-Semite, nothing hidden. Move to the United States. We see anti-Semitism on college campuses as if it's the norm. We know about what happened in Pittsburgh. Men are getting mugged in Brooklyn. We see Democrat members of Congress who are out and out anti-Semites. They don't even try to hide it. I find this extremely frightening, and the worst part is it's becoming mainstream, and the media, thank you, is not even covering it. I need you to talk about this because I know people in this room care, and this is not just a matter of that it's a problem for the Jews, it's a problem for society. And it's hard to talk about. I get choked up about it because it's extremely upsetting.
Well, there is a growing wing within the Democrat Party that's anti-Jew, that's anti-Semitic. And you have two women who the media keeps saying are the two first women Muslims elected to Congress. They also happen to be Jew-hating hold on now. I have no problem with that, except for their Jew-hating anti-Semitism. That is a little bit of a problem. And what does Nancy Pelosi do? She puts one of them on the Foreign Affairs Committee. They have not censured them. And the Congresswoman from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, daily with her hate speech and her hate talk. And the media have some responsibility for this, too. You put these professors on your damn channels who are also Jew haters and anti-Semites, and then when they're caught and the public rises up, the public, not the media, and says, look at that guy, why is he on your channel? Then you barely, passively, quietly yank their paycheck. You folks in the media have a responsibility. You know why we have a free press in this country, ladies and gentlemen? It's not for CNN and MSNBC and Comcast and Time Warner. It's for you. You. The free press is about you, the American people. That's what it's supposed to be about. Not a drama queen like Jim Acosta. No. Not Jake Tapper, who used to work for a Democrat Congresswoman in Handgun Control, Inc., who goes on there every night and calls the president a liar. Not for the fake legal analyst, Jeffrey Toobin, who goes on there burping up whatever he's burping up every day. We expect professionalism from the media. We expect objectivity from the media. We expect news from the media.
And
and you're failing us. You're failing the Republic. You're undermining the Constitution. You have individuals in Congress who are bigots, who are racists, and you sit there quietly or you'll do one story. And it's growing in the Democrat Party. It's growing on our college campuses. And you do nothing. Where's your documentaries? Where's your investigative teams? What are you going to do, just sit there and keep pounding Trump?
And a point I want to make, and don't forget your thought. You will. I will. Here's one other thing. Do you know that the FBI has reported that the largest number of hate crimes has been against Jews? And by the way, that started before President Trump became president. That's under Obama's watch.
Let me be clear about President Trump, who they keep painting as a racist and an anti-Semite and so forth and so on. He has been the greatest president in support of Israel in the history of that country.
Bravo, absolutely.
He's the one against the Democrats, against his own party, against the media, whining about it, recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. He's the one who moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He's the one who spoke out and talked about my brothers and sisters. It's Trump who did that. It's Trump who has a Jewish daughter and a Jewish stepson and Jewish grandkids. And while we're at it, let me just say this about Benjamin Netanyahu.
Go Bibi.
A tremendous world leader, a tremendous prime minister of Israel, a tremendous friend of the United States of America. And the same forces in our country that are trying to take down our president are the same forces in his country trying to take down the prime minister of Israel. And I, for one, stand behind both of them.
Well said, honey. Well said. All right, I'm going to move it on to a little bit of a lighter topic.
Nothing personal.
So I'm sure all of you watch Sunday nights, 10 p.m. is Life, Liberty, and Levin. There we go. And I can say this because I'm his wife, I do have bragging rights. Since the time that that show aired, you have owned the 10 p.m. slot on Sunday nights. It's true. It is a fact.
Well, in all honesty, honey, I'm up against CNN and MSNBC.
Well, that's true.
I mean, you know.
But he crushes all of them. One guy against all the others. But I can say that. So, and the reason I think that is because you bring on guests who are extremely interesting and you let them speak. Here's what most people don't know. We're going to fill you in on what you would say one of your secrets. Mark has tried so hard to get Democrats, liberals, socialists, whatever, I digress, they're all the same, on his program to have a serious, respectful, earnest conversation about their thoughts, their philosophies, and so forth. And how many have said yes? 0, 0. So let's put on our imaginations here for a moment and imagine that you have 3 on your list who are willing to come on to have a respectful conversation. Who would the 3 be, if we have time to get to it? And what general questions would you ask each of them?
Well, we've asked Bernie Sanders repeatedly. Radio, TV, digital TV, and we get no answer. Because I really want to have a conversation about him. He gets away with these platitudes and free this and free that. I really want to pin him down, which will not happen in the media. They had a whole town hall meeting on CNN. I thought they were throwing him roses, you know, and so forth.
Chocolates.
Chocolates. Like, for instance, Bernie, you're a Marxist, aren't you? What do you mean you're not a Marxist? Of course you're a Marxist. And explain what Marxism is. You believe in Hegel, right? He'd be shocked that somebody knows who Hegel is. Not the former Secretary of Defense. I'm talking about, you know. And I would talk about Rousseau, and I would explain how he has a completely different concept of humanity and individualism and so forth. That's why he excuses Maduro. That's why he won't call him a dictator. That's why he was a big pal of the Soviet Union and Castro and Ortega and all the rest of them. I'd be talking about things that would absolutely blow up all the heads on CNN and MSNBC because they're not, you know, familiar with these sorts of things. So I would definitely want to dig into that with him. I would like to have AOC.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
AOC.
Yes.
To see what AOC really knows.
It's like YMCA, but AOC.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have a discussion with her because now this 29-year-old, dim-witted, never did anything in her life, leader of the Democrat Party.
From Westchester, New York, by the way, despite what she says.
Right, from the streets of Westchester, New York. I would love to have a conversation about her rather than watch some stupid Instagram where she appears to be dismembering a body or something with a, you know, with a knife or something like that. The press has created her as a celebrity, so I'd like to have a chat with her. And any host of liberals in the media, I would like to have a chat with too, but they don't.
Throw out one name.
Chuck Todd.
Chuck Todd.
I would like to talk about climate change with Chuck Todd.
Really? But you're not allowed to ask a question. I'm not sure you can do that.
Because I think it's Chuck Todd who is a climate denier.
Really?
Yes. So I want to have a discussion because he has said, like a good little Marxist, that we're not going to have any climate change deniers on Meet the Depressed.
No discussion.
And you look at these people, there's thousands of physicists, climatologists, meteorologists, experts of all kinds. He doesn't want a single one of them on his program to question man-made climate change. Well, of course the climate changes, Chuck. We all know that. The issue is what causes it. And these leftists, whether they're in the media or the Democrat Party, however they dress themselves up, they actually think if we drive less, or if we wipe out cattle, or whatever we do, that somehow that sun and that moon and gravity and the atmosphere are going to react. They're not going to react. They don't give a damn what we do with cows or anything of the sort.
But you notice how they like to own the language, right? So years ago, it was global warming. Then they decided that didn't fit with the script. So what did? They just changed the name. It's not global warming, it's climate change. So they own the dictionary.
Well, they're always changing the nomenclature. They're always changing the language. This is what they do, and you're right. It was global cooling, global warming. Now it's climate change. So if it's too cold, they think climate change. Too warm, too much rain. Look at that, there's a hurricane. We've always had hurricanes, you idiots. Well, look at that, there's an earthquake. We've always had earthquakes. Look at that, there's a drought. We've always had droughts. By the way, open the Bible. This stuff's all right in there if you want to check it out.
The Bible! Woo! The Bible.
Let me just say this, because we have to go now. Let me just say this. I cannot thank you enough, number one, for being at CPAC. Number two, for being engaged American patriots. Number three, for embracing our principles that are so crucial, including freedom of the press. We believe in freedom of the press. We don't believe in prostituting the press. We believe in freedom of the speech. We believe in all the amendments to the Constitution and all the Constitution. And we believe in the greatness of this country. We do not want it fundamentally transformed. We believe in the greatness of free market capitalism. We do not want it destroyed with centralized, iron-fisted autocracy and socialism. We believe in the greatness of each and every human being, which is why we reject infanticide too. And we believe in the Judeo-Christian morals that serve as the underpinning of this country. And I want the media to understand something, and I mean this earnestly. You think you're at the zoo at the reptile house right now, don't you? This is America.
We're so extraordinary, right?
Yes.
We're so different.
This is America. We support America. We support our principles. We want America to succeed. We do not want to destroy it. And we don't give a damn what they do in the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, because they don't talk about Venezuela, right?
Yep.
Talk about Sweden, not Venezuela.
You're done.
And one last thought. Who is excited to see the most amazing president of the United States very soon? Right there, right there. We support him. He's great. Thank you,
One last thing. We want our president to know that despite what they're trying to do to him day in and day out, despite what they're trying to do to his family day in and day out, and the sacrifices he made to become president, we stand with you. We stand behind you, and we will be with you all the way.
100%.
All right.